And here's the big exclusive this evening. On to the big story on Times Now, viewers. The greatest travesty of them all in the Bilkis Bano case. The 11 men convicted for rape and murder were let go prematurely despite categorical opposition to the remission by Bilkis herself. Times Now has documents that show what Bilkis Bano said when her opinion was sought to remission of sentence. On February 3rd, 2020, the Office of Superintendent of Police, Lahore, the district in which the horrible tragedy occurred in 2002, wrote to the Collector and District Magistrate of Lahore. This comes after directive of the Gujarat High Court, remember, to seek opinions on the premature release of one of the main accused, Radhesham Bhagwan Das Shah. Now, the superintendent was against the grant of remission. This is very important. He wrote that the victim and her relatives have also said that the prisoner, Radhesham Shah, can commit serious crimes, but Bilkis went unhurt. So this is big breaking news that Times Now gets to you this evening. 7 pleas conveniently brushed aside, and we have those documents with us. Let me quickly play out another reaction coming in, and thereafter I'll go across to Siddharth, who will take us through these documents in detail.
સાંભળવાથી અમને એટલું બધું દુઃખ અને એક માયુસ થઈ ગયા છે કે અમે આટલા લાંબા સમયથી લડાઈ લડી એનો આ નતીજો છે એટલે અમને બહુ દુઃખ અને ડર જે ઓછો હતો એ આજે વધી ગયો છે. સરકાર તરફથી જે સહાય કરવામાં આવી છે 50 લાખ રૂપિયાની જે સહાય છે અમને ચૂકવી દેવામાં આવી છે અને સરકાર સુપ્રીમ કોર્ટે જે સરકારને આદેશ કર્યો છે કે એક મકાન એમને આપવું જોઈએ અને નોકરી આપવી જોઈએ એના વિશે હજુ કોઈ નિર્ણય નથી થયો.
Also opposing the release was the district magistrate of Lahore, who confirmed his decision in a letter to the head of Godhra sub-jail. This goes back to February 19, 2020. Siddharth, my colleague, is joining us live with all those documents that raises very, very important questions this evening. Siddharth.
Thanks a lot, Kritsween. These are all part of the submissions, by the way, that were made by the Gujarat government before the Supreme Court following a petition that's been filed in this particular matter by Subhasini Ali and Mahua Moitra. Now, these submissions also include the entire correspondence that led eventually to the remission of the 11 convicts in question. One of the main accused in this matter, who of course we'll be focusing on today, is Radhesham Bhagwan Das Shah. And on the 3rd of February 2020, the Superintendent of Police of Dahod district, remember this is where Bilkis Bano had been raped, gang raped in fact, in 2002, and her 3-year-old child murdered. And the Superintendent of Police, I'm just underlining the operative portions here, he basically says, accordingly, on being asked, the victim in this case, who is Bilkis Bano, and her relatives have stated that the prisoner Radhesham Bhagwan Das Shah and his accomplices can commit or cause to commit serious crimes, and therefore he should not be released prematurely from jail. They have categorically said not to release him prematurely, and entry to that effect has been made in the station diary, the copy of which is enclosed herewith. So this is a correspondence going from the Office of the Superintendent of Police, Dahod, to the District Magistrate of Dahod. And what's also very interesting, Kritsween, is that the District Magistrate of Dahod eventually seconds the decision that's actually taken by the Superintendent of Police. The District Magistrate of Dahod actually says, taking into account the opinion of the Superintendent of Police, I'm reading out the operative portion once again, the opinion of this office is also against the premature release of the said prisoner, which may please be known. So you at least have 2 stakeholders up to this point, and we're talking about 2020, who are actually saying that this man in question, Radhesham Bhagwan Das Shah, should not be released, and this following inputs from none other than Bilkis herself, who says that she apprehends a threat to her life in the event that this man is actually released.
Okay, Siddharth has taken us through 2 such statements already, but this is not all. Thank you, Siddharth, for that. A total of 7 stakeholders in this entire process of remission oppose the release of Radhesham Bhagwan Das Shah, and I'm going to quickly put out those excerpts of these documents that Times Now has now accessed. This one goes back to August 10, 2019. Remember, Central Bureau of Investigation itself maintained no leniency may be given to him. We're talking about Radhesham in this very case, just one of the 10 convicts in this case. Now, 2nd of February 2020, the Superintendent of Police Dahod, like Siddharth just told us, said, victim said Radhesham Shah can commit serious crimes. Those are the words of the Superintendent of Police, as has been noted in this very document. Now, February 19, 2020, the District Magistrate of Dahod also agreed to the Superintendent's remarks, said against premature release of Radhesham Bhagwan Das. On March 1st, 2020, the Additional Sessions Judge of Greater Mumbai said it is absolutely improper to consider the remission of Radhesham. Cut to July 2020, July 20, 2021, Principal and Sessions Judge Panch Mahal says prisoners' release may disturb peace. Very important to note here, all of these narratives, all of these stakeholders, 7 of them, including Bilkis Bano, all of whom, including the ADGP Prisons and Correctional Administration in Gujarat, saying this concurs with the Dahod SP, the DM's opinion to not grant remission. And yet, viewers, despite these objections, despite there being no unanimity in the remission panel, despite Bilkis Bano's own cries, both the Gujarat government and the centre put their stamp of approval on the release of this man. How will the Supreme Court respond when it hears this matter on 29th November? That remains to be seen. But for the moment, let's quickly open this up. We have Subash Jha with us, who's a lawyer. We have Naveen Chomal as well, lawyer himself. Tahira Hassan, activist, with us on this broadcast. Also with us is political analyst Lokesh Jindal. Mr. Lokesh Jindal, I want to begin by asking you, these are facts on record. We have these statements, we have all of these accounts that have been put out by the Superintendent of Police Dahod, by the District Magistrate Dahod, so on and so forth. We just put out those 7 statements, very, very important, including the CBI court as well, of how they were not okay with letting go of this particular man, Radhesham Shah. Why was all of this unheard? Why were the cries of Bilkis Bano unheard when these people, 6 of them, apart from Bilkis Bano, were against the very idea of letting him go?
Good evening. On 15th of August, when these convicts, they were released, the Independence Day was turned into a dark day. I would say the country got enslaved to bigotry, communalism, and it fell victim to the very ideology which the central government today adheres to. Now look at the manner in which they were facilitated when they were released. The point is, when they were convicted by the court, when they had done such a heinous crime, now Bilkis Bano is the daughter, she is the sister of this country. But these criminals, they think that they have done no crime. The party thinks that they have done no crime. I believe that it's the rarest of the rare crime.
Okay.
It is fit for giving them life sentence. It is fit to hang all of them. But rather than hanging them, the central government, it gave them
Lokesh Jindal is putting out that question for us. Mr. Subash Jha, how would you respond to that? All of those questions today being asked of the central government, of the Gujarat government, and I want you to also focus on this particular document, and this is the statement of the Principal District and Sessions Judge Panch Mahal, who is, by the way, one of the members of the remission panel, who is the only one who contended the very idea that this man should be let off. So why, despite one person speaking against, him being removed from jail, why did it go in unheard? Why was these statements not taken into record? Are they not important, sir, given the sensitivity of the case?
When I was on your channel, there was so much of discussion, hue and cry about all of them having been released. And when I said it, when it was pointed out that look here, there seems to be adverse report as against one person, and not all of them, all of the 11, and therefore all 11 cannot be treated alike. There could be case of one person, Radhesham Shah, which could be separated from others. Now we are coming down to only one person as against whom the Superintendent of Police said something against adverse, and then the report of SP was followed by District Magistrate Dahod. Now District Magistrate, the report which has been read out just now, doesn't seem to have applied his mind at all. He goes by the report submitted by the Superintendent of Police. And I wouldn't know what the other people have held against him and how his case was separated
But
from
sir,
the
how
rest
can you
of the-
disregard what the superintendent of police has said? Because
Why not?
he's
These
put
are
out what
only-
Bilkis Bano has
these are-
stated in as many words. I'm going to quickly quote from his statement. One second, hold on, sir. Hold on, Mr. Subash Jha. He says, accordingly, on being asked, the victim in this case and her relatives have stated that prisoner Radheshyam Bhagwan Das Shah and his accomplices can commit or cause to commit serious crimes, and therefore he should not be released prematurely from jail. They have categorically said not to release him prematurely, and entry to that effect has been made in the station diary, the copy of which is enclosed herewith. So this is coming from Bilkis Bano herself. How can this not be taken seriously? And if the district magistrate is going by this account, how is that wrong?
I'm telling you, it cannot be taken seriously because no person, the complainant, she is the de facto complainant or the victims can never ever say that, look here, release A, B or C. I'm sure this is the objection which must have been taken against all 11 of them. So ultimately, if you see how the system functions, please try to understand. Now, for example, even in a case of bail or anticipatory bail, those accused who are seeking bail, no prosecution will ever say that grant him bail or release him on anticipatory bail. Every time the objections are taken by the police, that doesn't mean that the court cannot exercise its power. Ultimately, these are the decisions which have been taken by the Superintendent of Police. Superintendent of Police doesn't say, prima facie, I find it is seriously flawed. He doesn't say, how does he come to the conclusion that this man is going to commit another offence while on remission.
Sir, you know, a couple of days ago, we'd also broken down details of the FIR that was filed against another 2 convicts who were out on parole. And there as well, you know, we sort of did come to a conclusion how that entire narrative of the good behavior claim that was, you know, laid by the government fell flat. So let's not talk about, you know, what those people were up to even when out on parole. I want Taira Hassan to come in. Taira Hassan, are you deeply offended that these rapists were let off, especially if we talk about Radheshyam and what Bilkis Bano has stated in this
I'm shocked. No, I'm shocked. Not only Radheshyam, I'm saying these 11 convicts who gang raped Bilkis Bano, you know, and murdered her family members, including young girl, small girl, her daughter also, and released on 15th August. Imagine. And the rapists could have a good behavior also. I'm not talking about only Radheshyam, sir. I'm talking all convicts. Nothing could be a more heinous crime than violating women's body. This has set the bad precedent. How can you curb the sexual violence against the women? After Nirbhaya, it is we women whose struggle, after struggle, this Justice Verma committee was constituted. And the gist of the Justice Verma committee is
these documents clearly reek of the fact that this is dereliction of duty on so many levels. Mr. Naveen Chomal, I want to then ask you, despite these statements coming in from at least 6 people other than Bilkis Bano herself, which we're assuming to be the fact in this very case, all of this went unheard? Why didn't the state government or the centre think it important to take this into consideration, sir?
Kritsween, I would like to give a very detailed reply to your questions, and I would like to reply on the basis of my experience as a lawyer for 27 years and having handled many of these type of cases. And that is why with an authority I can make some comments on the point of law also, which will be helpful for our esteemed viewers also. So I am not talking out of any emotions or taking any side. Kritsween, the law is settled. There is a codified law. There are 1992 rules, prison rules for remissions, and those rules are applicable to all the prisoners, not only these 11 prisoners. So whatever relief these prisoners have got is on the basis of the codified rules which the government has to follow for all the people, and there are not exceptions. So when you are talking about various objections raised by various people at various stages, so this is a very long process.
Sir,
And
nothing is left
Supreme
to
Court,
guess here. Because, you know, when we say
No.
that the panel was unanimous in what it decided, that also falls flat because you have the principal district and sessions judge here, Panchmahal, clearly stating that this can in fact disturb the law and order situation. This can, you know, disturb the peace in the region. So that's been stated by one of the members of the panel itself. So really not anything left to guess here. I'm going to have to leave it at that. Thank you, gentlemen, and Taira Hassan. We'll take this forward later in the day. But for the moment, we need to shift our focus